welcome to Week and Geek, your new comics preview for October 2nd. I'm Mike Ortiz.
And I'm the Chris Brown.
What do you got?
Well, happy October, everybody.
Happy October.
So we got Halloween coming,
Yep.
and all that, all the fun that October brings.
Yeah, my favorite month.
Mine as well. It's my birthday month.
Happy birthday.
So, well, it's still way late in the month. But thank you, all the same. So, all right, here. Well, I haven't put this in any semblance of order. We just kind of got cooking here. So I'm going to move this around real quick. I'm going to start off here with the... I don't have the other one. That would explain why that confused me. All right. I'm going to start off with All New X-Men Special. This is The Arms of the Octopus. This is, I do not believe, written by Bendis. This is Mike Costa, who I like. He was working on G.I. Joe, Cobra stuff with Chuckles, which I really enjoyed. I think he also did the Smoke and Mirrors with Ryan Brown that I enjoyed.
Yeah, you're right.
This apparently is going to tie into the Superior Spider-Man in some way. You're going to have some kind of Dr. Octopus Spider-Man thing going on. And it's going to, I think like last year where they tied a bunch of the annuals together or whatever, they're going to tie this in with Spider-Man, and I believe the next one coming is the Indestructible Hulk.
Okay. I
don't know what's going to come after that, but it looks like it'll be fun. You know, the artwork looks pretty cool. This is done by Chris Anka.
I've heard of him.
Me neither, but I dig it. Looking forward to
so
it.
this is basically like the All New X-Men annual. They're
Yeah.
just calling it special.
Pretty much. So it should be neat to see how the original X-Men deal with, Doc Ock, Spidey.
The non-original Spider-Man.
Yes. Then, speaking of which, I've got Marvel Knights Spider-Man. This is written by Matt Kent, who was doing Mind Management. He worked a little bit on Sweet Tooth, did some of the art, fill in there.
Did a lot of writing for Villains Month, too.
Yes.
All over the place.
So this looks pretty neat to me. This is, I believe, going back a ways. This is the Marvel Knights Spider-Man, so this should indeed be Peter. That looks like Frankenstein. So I don't know if we're going to have some Legion of Monsters. There's some kooky stuff going on in here. It looks, the art looks great. I mean, some really kind of interesting stuff, interesting layouts there. I'm looking forward to this one. I have no idea what the story is, but it is Matt Kent, who I've been liking lately, and Spider-Man, who I liked when he was still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
And I get to like him again for, a few short months.
I think the Marvel Knight stuff generally is been stuff that's outside of regular continuity.
Right.
So it's just kind of a chance to give writers and artists an opportunity to tell stories with the characters without having to worry about where it fits, things like that.
If you look at the cover, actually, it looks like we got a little Morbius, a little Frankenstein, a little Werewolf by Night. So it looks like it is going to be a
Spider-Man
monster
story. Yeah, good.
So
appropriate for Halloween.
Absolutely. Then that's going to bring me over to Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I've been liking this book. This is like the Sinister Six book. This is Nick Spencer doing what he does with kind of spy stuff and intricate storytelling, but with the villains of Spider-Man. Kind of like it. The superior adjective almost mocks me a little, but at the same time, I really enjoy this book. Looks like we got some Power Man and Iron Fist in this one. I'm always down with some Iron Fist. Iron Fist is wearing a suit with his mask, which I rather enjoy.
That's actually quite cool.
That's kind of a sweet design there. I like it. Superior Foes, Iron Fist. Then I'm going to jump over to Detective Comics. This is Batman. We are out of Villains Month here. So I imagine just going back to whatever they were telling before. This is John Layman, who I really enjoy, and Jason Fabok's artwork is pretty cool. I think he's been doing some pretty good stuff. This looks like some kind of weird robotic character, and Batman puts on a robot suit. I don't know. It feels like the 90s all over again with Spider-Man. Like, I don't know, put him in a different suit. Kind of interesting there. But I've been liking what he's been doing with Detective Comics. Both the Batman title and the Detective title, I think, have been pretty strong for a while now. As I've said before, I'm not reading a lot of the New 52. Right. I don't know why. I'm just not. It's just not. It's just not hitting me in all the right areas. But I'm not keeping up on everything Marvel either. I'm doing the best I can over here. Then I've got, which takes me to pretty typical of me going off the beaten path now here. This is The Mocking Dead by, what was this, Dynamite Comics. This is their zombie, almost like a zombie parody, but it's not really a parody so much. I mean, they're just telling a different zombie tale, and it's not like they're doing Mad Magazine style and ripping off the Walking Dead, even though the title clearly has a bit of a bit of a punch behind it there. But it's some cool stuff. It's kind of that black and white, but color. I don't know. I kind of dig it. Check that one out. Mocking Dead, more zombies. Who doesn't love zombies in October?
Yeah.
And we got Walking Dead coming up in a couple of weeks here, the new season. So
Good timing for that book.
Indeed. They know what they're doing. Yeah. Even if they're not ripping it off, they're biting a little. Then I've got Mind the Gap number 15. This is, as I've said every month, this is a really cool story. It looks like we're getting some different artwork in it here too as well. So like there's past and present sequences, so you're jumping between two different artists here. But it looks like some really, really cool stuff, which I believe they were also doing last month. This is a story of Elle, who is a little bit special. She has some things going on, and her family knows about it, and they've put her in a really weird predicament to get the most out of her. She's now currently in a coma where she's in this place called the Garden, and some things are going on, and we're trying to figure out exactly what the secret is to what she's doing, why she's there, and why her mother's involved in having put her there. But there's also a doctor there who was her doctor before she was there, so he's been put there on purpose also. Todd, the Ugliest Kid on Earth. This is number 6. We just had one last week. Mm-hmm. I didn't get a chance to read last week's yet. But there was a nice big gap in between 4 and 5. They must have been on their toes and getting everything ready and just figured, why not go ahead and put 2 out in a row here. This is a really strange book, and is this time following a young girl with a bag on her head. Mm-hmm. I believe Todd is also in here, but now we've got a young lady, and this is... That first story arc, as I said, was really bizarre. It puts little children in very strange, predicaments, as if no one noticed that the little kid with the bag on his head was in prison. Okay, that's weird. It's got a really sick sense of humor, really, really bizarre, but cool stuff. And it looks like issue number 7 will be on sale November 13th. So you get 2 back-to-back weeks, and then you don't have one for 6 weeks. This is Shadow Man number 11. This is also totally for Halloween. This is kind of a little Halloween special. Hallow Tides and Hallow Heads. This is writer Jim Zub, who's been our writer through most of the way, I believe. But we got a new writer coming on, perhaps with the next issue, I think. But this issue has 3 different covers. There's the 8-bit cover, which is kind of fun. He's fighting a big pumpkin demon. There's a standard cover, and there's also a cover with a perforated punch-out Shadow Man mask. Oh, nice. Which is really, really neat. You're probably not going to find too many where the mask's really tight in the thing. I was being really careful with them because they're perforated pretty good. They're intended to be taken out, worn. And if you buy one, that's probably what you're going to have to do to it because it's going to fall out anyway. But really, really cool. I really like the dudes at Valiant, and I think they're doing a great job with these books. And, looking forward to Unity and all the things that they're doing. So, absolutely loving Valiant. And think Shadow Man's a fun book. And Halloween Mask. Next up, I've got Trillium. This is issue number 3. I have not read issue number 2 yet. I'm behind on everything, but I'm doing the best I can. This issue here looks like we got some more things that are upside down a little bit in there. Right in the middle, I guess, maybe perhaps if they're jumping to the other side of the story, they flip you upside down. I don't know. Yeah, that's what it looks like every few pages. If it's the other guy's story, it's upside down. I didn't get a chance to read 2, so I wasn't sure if they had done a flip book or how they had done that. But I like this book. I like Jeff Lemire. He does some really, really cool stuff, and it was sad to see Sweet Tooth go. They came to their conclusion and told their story, so now I'm excited to see what Trillium's going to do. And there's a sneak peek to Coffin Hill, which is another one of their new Vertigo books that's under their whole Defy marketing plan. Cool. So, yeah, good stuff. What do you got?
I'm going to start off with The Star Wars number 2. This is the adaptation of George Lucas's original script for Star Wars, which is very, very different. A lot of the names and places and concepts followed through to the final movie. But very, very different stuff in general. Darth Vader is he's in there, but he's just like a general. Right. He's not kind of partly robotic. Really, really interesting stuff. I like the first issue a lot. It looks like we've got the early version of R2-D2 and 3PO in here. It's a very different story, very unusual take. It actually feels a lot more like old Flash Gordon style stuff, which originally Lucas wanted to do an updated Flash Gordon, but wasn't able to, and then crafted his own story. If you're a Star Wars fan and you're just kind of interested in seeing sort of like the Star Wars that could have been, this is actually pretty interesting. Absolutely gorgeous artwork by I think it's Mike Mayhew. So it's a very realistic style.
It's my understanding that while there were never actually any drafts written, this is billed as based on the original draft. He never wrote anything down until he wrote what we know today. But there are notes that take up 8 different incarnations. And it's my understanding that that's what this is based on. I've had a couple of guys that are Star Wars nerdy go, well, here's what it is. So it's a little bit more than just taking his original draft and putting it together. It's almost his entire creative process moving along that they found a way to work into a story other than what he had done.
I mean, I don't know where it came from, but there is a script, a full script.
Is there? Okay. The Star Wars.
The Star Wars, and it's dated around 74, 75.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was something assembled later.
Maybe, I don't know.
If that was an original thing or whatever. But yeah, they've definitely gone through, and in terms of like the concept art and things like that, some of that is Ralph McQuarrie stuff that was actually used to sell the movie as it was. So yeah, I mean, obviously they couldn't, they didn't make a movie in 1974. This is early stuff, so it's blending a lot of different things, and that's why I kind of more liken it to an alternate universe where instead of making the changes that he made, he kind of just went forward with the original story. So you get things like there's a design of a ship here that is very similar to a design of a ship that's used in Episode 1, which they didn't design until much later. But they're kind of taking little pieces. So yeah, this is the Star Wars of Earth 2. How about we'll call it that?
I like it.
Next up, God is Dead. This is Jonathan Hickman, Mike Costa again, and D. Amorim. Basically, this is Jonathan Hickman's take on the gods, on different pantheons of gods. You've got Odin.
They all exist.
So it's kind of what Marvel and DC have done in terms of how they handle the various mythologies sort of coexisting. But now Jonathan Hickman's doing his own take on it, which is kind of interesting. The gods sort of show up in our modern society, and of course it completely unravels the way that we view things once we see that these deities that supposedly to us are fictional and mythological are actually
He's got
real.
Einstein in there.
We've got Einstein, we've got Stephen Hawking. Basically, the scientists have kind of become underground because now that all these gods are popping up, people are believing in those instead of science anymore. Interesting stuff. John Hickman always gives you kind of a strange look at the world.
Yes.
Really good stuff. It's coming out from Avatar, which is unusual, but it's nice to see him spreading the love around to some other companies.
Absolutely.
Next up, All New X-Men number 17. This continues the Battle of the Atom. It looks like we've got Stuart Immonen back on artwork, which is great. He was one of my favorite artists. We're basically, in the last issue, some stuff went down, and they went to the future that the new X-Men, the new future X-Men are from, to find that things aren't the way that they said. And
Not
there's a
exactly.
different group there calling themselves the X-Men, which have a kind of Doctor Strange's cloak and dagger and a Colossus, and it looks like Quentin is now the Phoenix, and Iron Man is an X-Men. So I don't know if this is due to the time jumping.
The time stream is supposed to be broken.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is going to
If they're following that
directly to that, or all along, like in the last issue, Deadpool was talking about how horrible the future was, and that's what gets people to go, okay, we have to go back, and then Deadpool cops to he was lying. So these X-Men from the future are not what they seem.
Correct.
Who they are and what they are, I guess we will find out. That's going to be the central mystery here. But yeah, Bendis and company are putting together a really interesting, confusing. This is like Back to the Future stuff here, but still good stuff.
I love
Really,
that
really
when
enjoying it.
Cyclops was playing the Chuck Berry in the last issue. That was cool.
And Magneto gets all that poop dumped on him. Slim. Next up, we've got Green Lantern number 24. This is the beginning of Lights Out, the new crossover between all the Lantern books. Relic, who appeared prior to Villains Month and got his origin in Villains Month, makes his big play here. This is a crossover between all of the books. Relic, it comes from a previous universe. That origin story was the alternate covers. And he comes from a previous universe, the universe that existed before this one, not the classic DC universe. That's what some people were wondering, if he was like, is he from the pre-New 52? It's like, no, this is the universe that existed prior to this one within the New 52 continuity. Just go with it. But that universe was destroyed by...
This is probably like Earth 7 anyway,
Yeah.
I mean, is what you're going to find out. It's not the same, whatever.
But whatever their equivalent of Green Lanterns, which were the Lightsmiths who used all the different emotional spectrums, turns out all of that energy is not unlimited. It's got a limit, and when it gets all used up, the universe is destroyed. So he's decided to not let this universe get destroyed the way his was, and he's going to get rid of all the lanterns before they do some serious damage. It's kind of a strange eco-terrorist in his own way. So yeah, interesting how it plays out. I guess remains to be seen. This is the first crossover with this group. It's crossing over just into the regular books. I was hoping I could find a quick ad that explained which is going to be part of it, but apparently that was in the last issue. So I'm in for all the Green Lantern stuff anyway. We'll see how the new team handles this crossover, but so far so good.
Cool.
Next up, we've got Forever Evil #2. This is the big DC crossover.
Yes.
The villains from Earth 3, the crime syndicate, have come to this universe. They've defeated the Justice League supposedly, and now they're basically organizing the villains to take over the world the way that they had run their own homeworld, Earth 3, which was destroyed. But it looks like here, as villains do, they don't necessarily all get along. Villains don't like to be told what to do, even by other villains. So Lex Luthor doesn't like these new evil superheroes any more than the good superheroes. So he decides he's going to fight them. But we've got great art by David Finch, writing by Jeff Johns. Overall good stuff.
That's the first New 52 event.
Yeah.
Correct? Like it's the first, we're in our second year, and it's the first event.
First kind of there have been mini events. There was a Batman event, Justice League event. There have been crossovers. This is the real, and even Trinity War was just the Justice League time.
Right.
This is the first old-fashioned event where there's a core book, and then lots and lots of tie-ins.
Right.
And yeah, so far it's been pretty good.
Cool.
Next up, I've got Action Comics #24. This is the Psy War. All this weird psychic stuff is going on in the Superman books. Now we've got the debut of the New 52 Psycho Pirate. So lots of people controlling minds. Apparently somebody realized, hey, Superman, he may be invulnerable to all kinds of things, but he can take over his mind. So all he's doing for the last 6 months is fighting mental-powered heroes because that's his only weakness, which, hey, somebody realized there's more than kryptonite and magic out there. So this is overall good stuff. Scott Lobdell, don't know quite where it's going towards. I know there's been a lot of hints that Brainiac is returning.
Oh, cool.
There are these characters. When Brainiac first showed up back in Action Comics and Grant Morrison's run, 20 of the people were somehow touched by Brainiac, and they all have psychic powers now.
Okay.
So yeah, Scott Lobdell's telling an interesting story. I know he's kind of weaving between this and Superman until Greg Pak takes over. But yeah, we've got Superman fighting some big old brains. Next up, Daredevil Dark Knights. I really enjoyed the stuff that Lee Weeks did.
I did too.
Fantastic artwork. The story was pretty standard, not super exciting, but great artwork.
It was like a 1980s Daredevil story.
Yeah.
He really saved somebody, and
when it switched over here, now we've got Dave Lapham working on it. I was actually kind of expecting to not be terribly interested. I never read Stray Bullets. I haven't read much of Lapham's
I like Stray
stuff.
Bullets. I liked his stuff for Valiant back in the day too.
I didn't think the artwork is as strong, but actually I like this story quite a bit. It's very strange, very weird again. It's kind of throwbacky, which seems like what a lot of these are, is getting guys who have done Daredevil or guys who fit Daredevil to just tell some Daredevil stories. It's unclear if it's happening now, if it happened in the past. I mean, similar maybe to that Marvel Knights Spider-Man. Maybe they didn't call it Marvel Knights Daredevil because that sort of has a reputation with Kevin Smith and all that.
Sure.
But yeah, this is a great kind of out-of-continuity story. This is a little bit more superhero-ish than the last one. We've got Spider-Man in it. We've got the Shocker in it. We've got some strange midget guy that's a villain. Weird stuff. Well, they've got Iron Man and some other stuff. Yeah. So if you like Daredevil,
it's been fun,
and you want just some different, very unique, very creator-driven takes on Daredevil in small doses. 3 issues of Lee Weeks. I don't know how many issues we've got here.
I think it's 3 issues of him.
Next issue is Jimmy Palmiotti.
Okay.
We get Misty Knight next.
Oh man, Misty Knight in a bikini, no less.
So yeah, we had a 3-issue story. Now we got a 2-issue story. It's going to be 12 issues when all is said and done. But yeah, just some really, really good, interesting, old-fashioned Daredevil stuff. That's my stack.
Well, I guess that takes me to the top of my stack here. I'm looking at this book has been pretty late. You know, I don't even think we had one in the last maybe 6 weeks or so, maybe longer. This is issue number 9 of Bedlam. This is Nick Spencer, you know, who I like quite a bit. He always finds his way in my stack. And art by Ryan Brown, who is becoming one of my favorite guys as well. He's almost channeling Riley Rossmo a little bit. He's kind of working into that style with what he's doing. But beautiful stuff, really great artwork when he's not in the, you know, in the moments of Matter Red, like he comes out of it and just is, everything looks fantastic. Really, really awesome stuff. He's got, I can't remember what the name of the superhero was in town, but he figures his way back in the story. I'm a little bit lost. I'm going to have to go back and try and remember what had happened, because it has been, as I said, quite some time since we've seen an issue. But this one is always one of my favorites. Bedlam, really cool stuff. The story of essentially a reformed serial killer helping the police. Weird stuff, really dark, twisted tales, but cool.
You know, it's really interesting with Ryan Brown. He's got a very distinct style on like God Loves Astronauts and even
God Hates Astronauts.
God Hates Astronauts, and even I think that Smoke and Mirrors book.
And that was different from God Hates Astronauts even.
But then when he did that fill-in issue on Manhattan Projects, it fit very well with the Nick Pitara art. And now he's doing stuff here that fits very well with Riley Rossmo's art. So really, really kind of impressed at what a sort of artistic chameleon he's become. Yeah,
he's a very talented dude, very, very versatile in his abilities to go leap within styles.
Definitely. Well, my top pick is Batman Black and White number 2. This book and the Black and White books have always been creator-driven and very specifically artist-driven. And so if you're a fan of comic book art, you're going to find some great stuff here. We've got a cover by Jim Steranko, artwork by J.G. Jones, Raphael Grandpa, Raphael Albuquerque, and Alex Nino.
Wow.
I mean, this is a great cast of artists. The writers are Dan DiDio, Jeff Lemire, and then Raphael Grandpa and Raphael Albuquerque wrote their own stuff.
Cool.
But yeah, we've got some nice painted black and white Batman story by J.G. Jones, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Some just crazy Raphael Grandpa
looks great.
Look, yeah, his Joker. This book, they're all just short stories. You know, there's no big overarching thing. If you're looking for a big, long, deep Batman story, you know, you can read the regular book. But if you just want some great old-fashioned Batman stuff. If you're looking for some great black and white Batman artwork, this series has always delivered way back to the original series. And I think there's actually 3 trade paperbacks of previous Batman black and whites. It is a great idea. Batman is definitely served by the black and white format. And when you get artists of this caliber on there, I mean, that's some beautiful Raphael Albuquerque stuff, Alex Nino stuff. I mean, just great stuff. So yeah, for me, it's an art book more than anything else, but it's a great art book, and just never pass it up.
Yeah, and you really can't beat, Batman stories in black and white.
Yeah.
It fits his style so well. Kind of.
And Jim Steranko, Batman covers.
Oh, I know. That's nice stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah, everybody was whipped into a frenzy about Steranko's review of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. this week.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
Yeah, people were go read that if you haven't. Kind of interesting. I don't know. I wasn't offended. And a brief honorable mention this week. The Batman Court of Owls deluxe hardcover set is in. That comes with a Court of Owls mask.
Creepy looking mask.
Yeah, and it's only $24.99, I think, for the whole set. Wow. So maybe it's not a hardcover, maybe it's the paperback. But yeah, it comes with a mask and the book. Really cool stuff. Check that out, and that is your Week in Geek.